Then we stop spending time in the learning zone. We focus all our time on just doing our job, performing, which turns out not to be a great way to improve. But the people who continue to spend time in the learning zone do continue to always improve. The best salespeople, at least once a week, do activities with the goal of improvement. They read to extend their knowledge, consult with colleagues or domain experts, try out new strategies, solicit feedback, and reflect. The best chess players spend a lot of time not playing games of chess, which would be their performance zone, but trying to predict the moves grandmasters made and analyzing them. Each of us has probably spent many hours typing on a computer without getting faster. But if we spend 10 to 20 minutes each day fully concentrated on typing 10 to 20% faster than our current reliable speed, we would get faster, especially if we also identify what mistakes we're making and practice typing those words. That's deliberate practice. In what other parts of our lives, perhaps that we care more about, are we working hard but not improving much because we're always in the performance zone? Now, this is not to say that the performance zone has no value. It very much does. When I needed knee surgery, I didn't tell the surgeon, poke around in there and focus on what you don't know. We'll learn from your mistakes. I looked for a surgeon who I thought would do a good job, and I wanted her to do a good job. Being in the performance zone allows us to get things done as best as we can. It can also be motivating, and it provides us with information to identify what to focus on next when we go back to the learning zone. So the way to high performance is to alternate between the learning zone and the performance zone, purposefully building our skills in the learning zone, then applying those skills in the performance zone. When Beyonce is on tour, during the concert, she's in her performance zone. But every night when she gets back to the hotel room, she goes right back into her learning zone. She watches a video of the show that just ended. She identifies opportunities for improvement for herself, her dancers, and her camera staff. And the next morning, everyone receives pages of notes with what to adjust, which they then work on during the day before the next performance. It's a spiral to ever-increasing capabilities, but we need to know when we seek to learn and when we seek to perform. And while we want to spend time doing both, the more time we spend in the learning zone, the more we'll improve. So how can we spend more time in the learning zone? First, we must believe and understand that we can improve, what we call a growth mindset. Second, we must want to improve at that particular skill. There has to be a purpose we care about, because it takes time and effort. Third, we must have an idea about how to improve, what we can do to improve. Not how I used to practice the guitar as a teenager, performing songs over and over again, but doing deliberate practice. And fourth, we must be in a low-stakes situation. Because if mistakes are to be expected, then the consequence of making them must not be catastrophic or even very significant. A tightrope walker doesn't practice new tricks without a net underneath, and an athlete wouldn't set out to first try a new move during a championship match. One reason that in our lives we spend so much time in the performance zone is that our environments often are unnecessarily high stakes. We create social risks for one another, even in schools which are supposed to be all about learning, and I'm not talking about standardized tests. I mean that every minute of every day, many students in elementary schools through colleges feel that if they make a mistake, others will think less of them. No wonder they're always stressed out and not taking the risks necessary for learning. But they learn that mistakes are undesirable inadvertently when teachers or parents are eager to hear just correct answers and reject mistakes rather than welcome and examine them to learn from them, or when we look for narrow responses rather than encourage more exploratory thinking that we can all learn from. When all homework or student work has a number or a letter on it and counts toward a final grade, rather than being used for practice, mistakes, feedback, and revision, we send the message that school is a performance zone. The same is true in our workplaces. In the companies I consult with, I often see flawless execution cultures, which leaders foster to encourage great work, but it leads employees to stay within what they know and not try new things, so companies struggle to innovate and improve, and they fall behind. We can create more spaces for growth by starting conversations with one another about when we want to be in each zone. What do we want to get better at and how? And when do we want to execute and minimize mistakes? That way we gain clarity about what success is when, and how to best support one another. But what if we find ourselves in a chronic high-stakes setting, and we feel we can't start those conversations yet? Then here are 3 things we can still do as individuals. First, we can create low-stakes islands in an otherwise high-stakes sea. These are spaces where mistakes have little consequence. For example, we might find a mentor or a trusted colleague with whom we can exchange ideas or have vulnerable conversations or even role play. Or we can ask for feedback-oriented meetings as projects progress. Or we can set aside time to read or watch videos or take online courses. Those are just some examples. Second, we can execute and perform as we're expected, but then reflect on what we could do better next time, like Beyonce does, and we can observe and emulate experts. The observation, reflection, and adjustment is a learning zone. And finally, we can lead and lower the stakes for others by sharing what we want to get better at, by asking questions about what we don't know, by soliciting feedback, and by sharing our mistakes and what we've learned from them so that others can feel safe to do the same. Real confidence is about modeling ongoing learning. What if, instead of spending our lives doing, performing, we spent more time exploring, asking, listening, experimenting, reflecting, striving, and becoming? What if we each always had something we were working to improve? What if we created more low-stakes islands and waters? And what if we got clear within ourselves and with our teammates about when we seek to learn and when we seek to perform, so that our efforts can become more consequential, our improvement never ending, and our best even better? Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll end the session with a quick energizer again. If you could all stand up and just turn to your partners, left or right of you. You'll need partners. In case somebody does not have a partner, they can be my partner on the stage. So this is movement for the brain. I'll keep this mic on like this, and it goes. So it's a clapping game, and it goes like this: clap together, clap right, clap together, clap left, clap together. 3 times, okay? So that's the pattern: clap together, clap right, clap together, clap left, clap together, and together 3 times. So I'll do this with a particular song or a rhyme. Okay, follow me first. Teachers, just a sec. A sailor went to sea, to see what he could see. And all that he could see was the bottom of the deep blue sea. Okay, one more time, together. A sailor went to sea, to see what he could see. And all that he could see was the bottom of the deep blue sea. Smile. Okay. All of you are excellent at it because obviously all of you are from the land of Dandiya, so of course you'll are good at it. So thank you everybody.
Please be here, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for making us familiar with the neuroscience of learning, for empowering us as teaching professionals of 21st century by opening up new perspectives. And I assure you, ma'am, we will put in conscious effort to make our school a learning zone and will make ourselves unconsciously competent. We will make teaching our Ikigai. Thank you. Now I request our Executive Director, Shri Manan Choksi, to kindly come on stage and felicitate Srimati Maya Menon.
Thank you, Ms. Menon, for coming all the way from Bangalore We had a wonderful learning session, and it is interesting that there are people out there who are researching and finding ways to help teachers do their job better. The only problem is that we are not taking benefit of such research. And yes, we learned a lot today. I learned a lot, and I hope to reuse whatever you have taught me. So in case anybody forgets, we will implement at least
Thank you, ma'am.